Yes, we got it. They're here, except we're missing Zill. Sorry, Zill. Dang. Okay, but that's okay. So we have MOSH in the house. I love it. We have Starbuck in the house. They're good friends. They've known each other. Just found this out. They've known each other for a long time. Good friends. I love
Real
it.
life
You
friends.
guys are like legends in the game. And potatoes, Zabu in the house. So, hey. So real quick, I know MOSH is just like a pet machine. And
King.
Starbuck, are you both the pet guys?
Yeah, we've been in the pets for a minute. I think I had the first mythic pet, and then Josh quickly quadrupled what I had total.
Hey.
Yeah, sir, you've actually hatched over 30 mythic pets.
Yeah. I only boon though. Like that's super degen, but I only boon. I use the 50 jewel boon, and it's worked out really well for me, man.
So you do 50 jewel every time.
Every single time. I've done a couple 7-day hatches on accident, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And I did just trying it out at first, but I've always only booned as well. But then, and this is off subject, but that's okay. But Carla, like, no, just look at the math. Like the chances of you can save the jewel, the 40 jewel, do the 10 jewel, and then buy the egg with the difference of the 40 jewel.
Yeah.
Hatch a whole nother one.
Oh, you can do 3 eggs to 1 on the boon. You legitimately can, but I mean, listen, I put about 10,000 jewel, and I know this is off subject, but I've been able to turn it into a ridiculous amount of odd pools, ridiculous amount of like best in game, legendary, best in game, mythic. I mean, I probably have a couple dozen best in game pets. So I feel like it's worked. I've made most of my money back that I initially put in, and I still got a giant stable of pets.
Yeah, how is that? So because I was a dumbass hatching the pets right away when the hatcher came, but I've got so much money, and I have hatched a few mythics and legendaries.
Yeah.
And I've got, I don't know, how many pets do you guys have?
Oh, now probably like
35 mythics between the 3 of us, but we have a ton of pets. Those are just mythics.
You said 3 of us. Which 3?
Oh, me, Mosh, and Justice Beaver. Justice Beaver and Mosh are identical twins.
That's my twin brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
We split an egg before we started hatching eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about you, Zabu?
And I have big fat 0. I'm actually holding out. I'm really stacking eggs right now.
Oh, he's got a basket.
I'm stacking lots of eggs.
Yeah, that's what I think is the right method. I know there's a couple people that I look at, and when they do summons, they do them all at once just so they can, hit that RNG all at once. And the same thing with pets is if you see the people getting the most, stacking a bunch of them, and it's like hatch.
Yeah.
And I feel like they get better odds because they're doing it all at once, assuming nobody jumps into their rhythm.
Yeah, I'm kind of weird, man. I'll have probably like 30, 40 eggs to hatch, and I just watch that hatchery, and if it's been a while since a mythic hits, I slap like 5, 6 eggs, see what happens. It seems to work out. I know that each egg has its own RNG, but in my brain, the longer it goes without a mythic, man, I'm just sitting there like, oh, okay, here I go. Let's press some buttons.
You got to have the dopamine hit right away, right? 24 hours.
Absolutely. You got to get that dopamine.
Yeah. Okay. How many heroes do you guys have?
I have probably currently between like 130 and 150. I have some friends that level some heroes that I got into the game, so I send them over some heroes and they level them for me too. But really, I try to just keep my ingredients for Sage and Dragoons, which are all the advanced classes. And I do some Gen 1s, 10 of 10s, but mainly I'm going for elite skills and stuff like that. I mean, that's
so cool. And that might play into this conversation today on PvP, this debate, finally. Okay. Yeah. I love this. This is my favorite thing to talk about in the game. is
No, we know, Grady. We know you like to talk
Yes.
about DeFi Kingdom stuff.
is we're thinking ahead PvP. Right now we're sowing the seeds. We're
Yes, sir.
looking ahead. We're just putting in the time right now, preparing for PvP. We're questing our heroes. We're leveling our heroes. That's the main thing. But then also pets play into it.
And thank God for batch questing, right? Oh my gosh, man. I was almost at my wit's end before that came out. Yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you, when I lost all my money, I managed to lose all my money.
It happens in crypto.
As the COVID, I was just competing for the contest, and I knew I was up against guys with bots. And to me, bots were something I would never have because I would never trust someone enough.
It would have to be my bot created by me for me to use it. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, I would have to do that. I'd have to create my own bot, but then I just had enough trust. I had trust with Defi and Thanos, but then and also with Carlo and the waifu bots. And it changed my life. That's when I had the time to start the YouTube. Get out.
I know.
How much is that? We've been we just watched your episode with Thanos yesterday,
which was
but
juicy.
he never mentioned the price.
I know.
I'm like, come on, advertise, homie.
I wanted to get into it. I wanted to talk more Defi, but he was like trying to, and I chatted with him for a while, afterwards, and he's like really trying to sound the alarm bells.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, but I don't know if we need alarms yet. We're in beta.
I know, and so it
beta.
Yeah, it put a fire in me to just I don't know if you saw the first video I did yesterday. It's like, you guys, you bunch of newbies in crypto. Listen, here's how this works. Okay, I love it. How about you, Starbuck? How many heroes?
Not nearly as much as MOSH. I think I've got 80.
He's got like 100, and all of his heroes are ridiculous.
No, like 80, 85. I think 83, 84. I think I added some buddies to the roster yesterday.
Okay, you guys are more into the pets than you are even the heroes.
Yeah, well, we've got if you've seen our heroes, I think mine are just top tier for right now for what's out here. And so I was going over quality over quantity. I take my top 3 over anybody else's top 3. But I think now that I've got who I think are going to be my main 3 for PvP, I can start stacking my roster. But when I get hyper fixated on one goal, first I got to accomplish that, and then I can move on. Like I don't weed whack before I mow the lawn.
Starbuck is like, if he likes something, like he's gonna go for it, and he has tunnel vision until he gets
tunnel vision, all or nothing. I'm so the same way. And what's so cool about this game? I'm coming to you next, Zabu. But what's so cool is there's no right or wrong way to do things. Some people just want as many heroes as possible, and so they're buying up all the floor heroes, and they just want to have heroes, right? Some people just want specific heroes. Some people focus, like MOSH, focus on the advanced, elite, and transcendent genes.
Yes, sir.
What are those called? Hello, brain?
Mythic pets?
Not pets.
Oh, no. Skills.
Abilities or skills?
Ability, which we still don't know what the hell's going on with that too much. But
if we played any sort of GameFi in the past, you darn well know that skill tree is just as important, or even more important for certain reasons going forward. I mean, it's got to be in game. Dread Knight is in game on that tree. Transcendent is in game on the skill tree. And I really do believe, with the nuggets dropped by Wisdom and just talking to people and the community and the devs and chatter on Twitter, that I think that if you can get ahead of that PvP curve before that PvP drops, man, you're going to be set up good.
Okay. Yeah, and I've always wondered, like, is everyone just going to be? Is this going to be like the most important part of PvP? Like these. Having
I could care less what they look like. They could have a turd on their forehead if they're slapping around with transcendent I'm looking at active 1, active 2 as like my mains, and then passive one, passive two. And I was just talking to someone in the DGen dungeon yesterday. Someone who's a lot smarter than me, and he's saying that the active one, you'd want to have an active one and a passive one so that they could be usable in the game together. Well, I'm thinking like, but what if active one is your first attack and your active two is like your fierce attack? And I want my active two as strong as ever. If you ever played like Street Fighter or Final Fantasy, your fierce attack, you want that fierce attack to be as strong as possible. And maybe you don't even open up with that, that number one. I don't know. It could be anything, or it could be number one is a physical attack, and active two could be a mana based attack. So you've got a big magical wallop coming with a transcendent active two.
That's okay. We're going to do a whole video just on what you guys are talking about right now. Let's do that soon. And MOSH already, we talked about it last night. Let's do a whole video just talking about those hidden abilities. Okay. We're getting there to the debate real quick. Zabu, how many heroes do you have? And what's your thing? What's your niche within this game?
Right now I have about 105 potatoes. I was focusing really on floor and focusing on unaligned for because they're like so cheap, basically just to get a nice pool of questers and who knows, maybe some of them will be blessed with RNG,
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, right on. That's perfect. That's good.
But don't get me wrong, man. I have intense FOMO on the eggs. I'm proud of myself that I've been holding out and stacking them. I love like how MOSH, I think it's MOSH that mentioned, like basically having a mythic triple is basically like a cheat code, like those things are gonna be beast to level your heroes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, why have the best hero if you don't have the best piece of equipment attached to it in the pet?
And I think that the pets are going to be the most important equipment. I really do. Why would the second set of NFTs not have utility? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I mean,
and so one thing Raph said like this week, a few days ago, he thinks the Profession 10 questing is just going to be dropped out of the blue and soon.
Yeah,
very soon.
Yeah. Okay, so pets, once there's utility for the pets, I could literally see them at least 2 or 3xing like overnight. Just
floor mythics got wiped out yesterday.
Yeah, just drop this little nugget on you. There's only like 240 triple mythics or 200-ish triple mythic pets. Okay, there's over 300,000 heroes. When crafting comes out, when level questing comes out, when PvP comes out, those will be the most sought after pieces of equipment in the game. So if you're sitting on mythics or odd pools, like I know this isn't a pet discussion, but let me throw this out at you too. Those mythic backgrounds, those 3 mythic backgrounds, Intergrove, Hayward, Farmstead, Valhalla Ruins. I believe any pet with those backgrounds, and this is pure speculation, but I've played lots of games in the past and I've talked to lots of people, old school gamers, and they believe that they're going to be keys to certain areas on the map. So you'll only be able to go into the Inner Grove to do whatever questing or tournaments they have in the Inner Grove if you have a pet attached with that background, i.e. the key to get in there. They kind of play off that there's not going to be utility, or they're real hush-hush about the utility on odd pool pets and or odd pool backgrounds. But I'm saying if you're going to design it, you're going to make it, more than likely they're going to have some sort of functionality to it. And if we push the dev team and we continue to interact with them and stuff like that, they're building it around us, fellas. Like, you know what I mean? So we can nudge them in whatever direction we want, really. I mean, if we're the players. So,
yeah, Mark, didn't you say somebody? Yeah, didn't you say somebody said that having a odd pool pet was like winning the lotto?
Oh yeah, the devs did when they first released all those infographics on the odd pools. They basically said straight up, it's like hitting the lotto if you hit the odd pools.
Really?
So, doing my own speculation.
People are sleeping on pets.
A good thing.
People are sleeping on pets.
Yeah, and
Oh,
what if
Definitely.
this first season from Sarandale was like, you know, the Gen Zero of Sarandale pets,
Well,
and they're just
and
gone
just
now.
think
We're not going
collectors
to have them.
too. Yeah, think collectors too. That the Sarandale 1.0 is over. So all those pets that were hatched in Sarandale 1.0, they're never going to be any more of them. So as this game grows and we get further along, and there's more seasons released, all those pets are released, and we're getting further along in the
You want
game.
the
Those
first
are going to be the most
Charizard
sought
or the most recent?
Exactly.
interesting. So I don't even know what you guys are talking about with hitting the lotto. So we got to do another video on this. Okay, here we go for the debate. This is not meant to have soft gloves. Here, gloves are off.
Let's knock each other out.
Put me in my place like the little cockroach that I am. What the hell do I know in this game? I'm sitting here with the contrarian view, like standing up against the whole freaking community. So there's a whole lot more people. This is probably part one of the debate, because I've been in so many debates with so many like OGs in the game that completely, totally, 100% disagree with my stance on it. Okay, so here's what I told these guys, do not hold back, put me in my place. Okay, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw out my arguments, which I already have quite a bit, as to why I think in the early stages of the hero's life to focus on leveling the hero based off its profession while still keeping PvP in mind. I'm going to lay out my argument as to why that is. And I've just come to realize over time that, like, I'm so contrarian. And I didn't even realize it until recently that I'm completely contrarian to the whole community. They have, like, expert, for example. He has, like, the Bible, essentially, of leveling, which for the most part, and I could share my screen and show that shot, but for the most part, it doesn't. And we're talking purely PvP here. We're not talking, having just questing heroes. Okay, we're just talking PvP, how to best level the hero, potentially, because we still have limited information. Like any time, any day, this could drop, like more alpha could drop, which I want to ask you too, because you just mentioned just a little bit ago, about something with Wisdom Gaming and the workhorse guy, Pervy Sage, baby, about I don't know if you have more alpha than me. So that's why I want more of you guys.
Well, if you stay in the PvP discussion forum there, Grady, like they do drop nuggets, and even on Twitter they drop nuggets. You ask questions and they'll I mean, it's you just gotta listen. You're never gonna get anything straightforward. I mean, they just won't. There's too much on the line for it. So you just gotta kind of read outside the lines and figure it out. But it's all speculating. When you're in a beta game like this, and it's a blockchain game with money, it's all speculation. But I'll tell you what, me and Starbuck, we've bet on certain things before they've been dropped, like the questing and all that stuff, and it's worked out beautifully so far. And that's what we live to do, is speculate.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's all speculation. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do anything yet until.
Let's just say speculating one more time. Speculation one more time.
Yeah, this is not financial advice.
Yeah. It's not financial advice. Hey, Starbuck, MOSH, this guy Starbuck, and this guy Zabu, and myself, we're just dudes sitting in our house. We're not your financial advisor.
Exactly.
In case you needed to know that. Freaking human beings. Okay. So this is all speculation. None of us really know yet until the day comes when it's all actually here. We'll be throwing freaking parties when we have pets and all these use cases actually happening for PvP. And oh my freaking gosh, I can't even imagine how exciting that will be. This is all about PvP. So I don't want anybody to get me wrong in my arguments. I'm all about PvP. I don't give an F about questing. Okay, that's why I have the right bots questing for me. Okay,
I think that's a big part of the discussion too, though, because I mean, some heroes I'll buy specifically for questing, and then you've got your PvPers, and I don't know, I don't look at them the same way. So let's jump in.
So that's part of my debate here, is because I don't necessarily view it that way. Because here's one of the arguments too. Even for that, I kind of view all heroes as potential PvP guys. Because if you look at a basic common hero versus a mythic Dread Knight, they're still going to have 70% of the stats by the time they reach level 100. Like, did you guys know that?
Yeah.
So a basic common hero will still have 70% of the stats of a mythic Dread Knight by level 100. That like blew my mind when I did the math.
I think I saw recently too that somebody asked, can a basic hero be a transcendent hero? And somebody had met skilled hero, and then somebody said theoretically a level 99 could maybe beat a level 1 transcendent.
Wow.
That's all I need to know right there.
That was all I needed to know. The maybe. They didn't say for sure. They said maybe a level 9 basic could beat a level 1 transcendent.
My guess is a level 99 transcendent will probably slap just about anything. So.
Yeah, with a little bloater snail on his shoulder. Wow.
Who said that?
You know what? Justice Beaver's probably got it in his little Rolodex of articles that he maintains for DGen conversations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So was it one of the devs that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Now we're on watch. We'll have to get it on Twitter by the end of the day.
So that
we'll have to get it, but I want to say it was Hubert. I want to say it was
Hubert too.
Okay.
I want to
get I don't know.
Is it even possible to get Hubert on the channel?
Somebody.
Oh gosh, man. I don't know. That'd be sweet, Grady. You got some poll like that?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, man. Shout out to Hubert. What's that, Zabu?
No, I was just gonna say, that'd be amazing if he'd be on.
And shout out to Hubert. I think he's a big part, the backbone of the genius behind this game.
Yeah, I thought he was a dev.
Yeah, behind the foundation. So, and I think it's Frisky Fox as well. But
the whole team,
Yeah. Like the genius behind the quality, the substance that this game has that I've never even seen anything close. Like when you look at a game like League of Legends, there's nothing compared to what I see here. League of Legends, willy-nilly, the developers just randomly, make up guys. It's a phenomenal game, like phenomenal marketing and well-executed game. Okay, but when you look at the foundation and the substance, it's just willy-nilly. It's just developers creating heroes out of thin air. In this case, it's something that's a foundation is laid of consistency, stability. It's brilliant. It's genius. Everything, all these little details between the cracks in this game is so phenomenal. And that leads right into this argument. But you just blew my mind with this how many transcendent heroes are there? Like heroes with transcendent ability?
There's 45 in the entire game.
Oh, holy
45 transcendent. And see that Starbuck guy over there right there? Yeah. That dude's got 3 of the best transcendents in the entire game. And I made one a long time ago, a Dragoon. I actually made the very first elite class transcendent.
Oh, I thought you did that yesterday.
No. That Dragoon I made was like hero 188,000, something in there. So that was when I made the first one. I mean, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
Can we search for that? Like, is that an option? Like within DFK Quester?
In DFK Analytics, you can filter by transcendent heroes. Just view all. But it doesn't tell you if they're real or not. So you got to take it into that other hero
and do the history chasing.
Yeah, but we do our due diligence.
Yeah,
I'm a purchaser, not a summoner.
Yeah, 1 through 19 Gen 0 heroes. You can throw it out, right?
Well, you might get an atonement crystal or something for holding one of those. As the devs
that's what Hubert said. That's going to be gold.
So it will be valuable in that sense if you have some.
Wow.
You won't be able to PvP with them.
So I pay attention a little bit, like on Adventures in DFK when I'm factoring, summoning. I look at that, like what's my chance of getting advanced or elite, a little bit, but I just don't pay much attention to it because it's so high in the sky.
I don't summon unless there's an elite mutation. Period.
Yeah,
I don't press the button.
Yeah, I wouldn't even look at it.
I mean,
even the summon, I barely summon, and when I do, there has to be an elite in the mix or something that ups the quality for its PvP. Think about it. So many people are going to want to be in the PvP game. A lot of people are going to look at their rosters and be like, oh my God, all my heroes are basic once it gets released. And you even look in the chats, they're saying, can I do anything with PvP heroes? And other people are jumping in like, dark summoning's coming up.
Listen, I've seen dozens of players that have been on that rarity game and class game. Like, I want a mythic Dread Knight, I want a mythic Dragoon, I want a mythic this. That's what I'm doing, right? But they're all basic. And the further you get along in this, I'm seeing more and more of those people liquidating those heroes, going for either Gen Zeros or going hard into the PvP mutations and stuff like that. I'm telling you, like a month ago, 2 months ago, you could go onto Discord and Twitter. Very few people talking about it. Very few people even dabbling in it now. Now you're seeing it all over the place. You go to Degen Dungeon, hero discussion, PvP discussion. That's what people are doing. All the big time players are starting to get into the gene mutations, the skill mutations.
Yeah, the elite stats.
Big time right now. It's creeping up. And here's the deal too.
Yeah.
When we get to PvP and those skills have utility, it's too late. It's going to be so hard because everybody will be going to get those gened. Anything available on the market's going to be gone, dried up. Yeah. So you're going to have to make your own stuff, which if you've already been practicing and learning how to do it, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. It really, to get an elite skilled or transcendent elite class takes months to build that. Yeah. I mean, you literally months to build it.
There's only 2 heroes in the game that have a transcendent stat as well as an elite stat.
I gotta step away for 1 second.
Yeah, and they're both on my 0x, so don't go looking for them.
And you know what this tells me is that this is almost the wrong argument. Like we're making even this whole debate, the foundation of this debate is almost the wrong argument. Because it's that if a level 1 transcendent skilled hero can take down a level 99, like really?
Speculative. Like
this is the wrong freaking debate.
Yeah, well, it just tells you transcendent stats are going to play a big key when you link them to that mythic combat, and even the mythic combat pets right now. We don't know if that mythic combat role is going to be on the 70 spectrum or on the 90 spectrum. All you know is if you have that mythic combat, it's going to be somewhere within that range. So you want to stack those mythics to see maybe you can get, I've got 10 right now and I'm feeling pretty good that at least one of them, or hopefully 3 of them, that's 3 is that magic number in this game for PvP, PvE. Hopefully 3 of them have that 90%. And then we're going to be looking at, does the element match? Do I have a dark and a dark pet with a dark hero, or do I want the opposite? Do I want a dark with a light? That part is all speculative. I want to be prepared for, making that right decision. And then later on, who's going to need those mythic pets? You're going to have these whales in this game. They're going to be like, oh my God, I've got no pets. You can't have more than MOSH has the most, So how many heroes do you have that transcendent? There's not enough, mythic pets to go around across the world. And we're talking about a game with 300,000 heroes. Wait till it's a game with 1 million, 2 million, etc.
Right. And just wait until there's that many players in the game. That's what's coming. Yes. Okay. This is so exciting. You guys. It's like my mind is blown right now. We have to do soon another video because you guys said it's like a skill to summon these transcendent and elite classes. Let's do a whole video on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Skill I don't have.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay out my argument, and then I'm going to let these guys shred it to pieces. like the cockroach man. They're gonna squash me. Here we go. Okay, so let's imagine a world for a second where everything we just talked about, we forget that for a second, and we're just talking how to best level our heroes for PvP. Okay, and I just in my gut, I don't know what it is. I can't get off this. And this is maybe not the most important thing we should be talking about. Maybe it's the second most important thing we should be talking about now that my mind is blown. Is right now we're waiting for PvP. We're putting in the time. We're questing. We're leveling. Okay. And the way I see it, just the way the game has been developed up to this point, is that the profession stat or the profession gene of the hero is the foundational piece of the hero. And so, and you guys can all correct me, just let me kind of lay this out. And we see that in the tavern with the value of the heroes, a mythic fishing paladin or foraging paladin versus a mythic mining paladin, half price. So just to follow your guys' argument and the whole community's argument on this, I bought up a bunch of those heroes, by the way, because thank God for the training quest. We can not even though, okay, the questing, I have a quote here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll do this one. Share the screen. Okay, this is a quote months and months ago from Hubert. Okay, okay, can you guys see that?
No.
Yep.
Oh, really?
You're gonna have to read it to me.
Okay,
I'll make mine bigger.
Is it? It's
well,
not.
I can see it, but I can't distinguish it.
Now. Yeah.
Okay. And so this is a conversation Hubert was having with Baby Punch, and he's talking about questing, leveling, profession. Yeah. Okay. And he says, sorry for the late reply. So for the profession quest, at least for the initial ones coming out, the profession stats carry about 1/3 weight in deciding the outcome. Okay. Your profession skill carries the other 2/3. Then your profession gene adds something like a 10% bonus on top of that. Okay, so this last one is very hand-wavy simplification of what happens. For the first foraging and fishing quest, you'll get the maximum stat benefit if two stats add up to at least 300. Okay, so 300, like for foraging, we'd want a total sum of your dex and intelligence to be around 300. Okay. And that's like, I guess that's when it caps out, at least for the profession 0 questing. I expect later, higher level profession will have higher caps for benefits, but that's for later. For the initial gardening and mining, there is no maximum to the benefits. So the higher the combined stats you have, the better your results. Okay, so right there, Hubert, and I'll finish the rest of the quote here in a minute. Okay. Come back here with you guys. All kinds of good comments going on here, though, by the way. Okay. All right. Now we're good. The share went away, right? You can see me?
Yep.
Okay. So the stats only make up for about 1/3. I get that. So it's actually not super overly important, but I can tell you this. As you like, I have a level 16 thief, mythic, or a legendary perilous journey thief, fishing beast, and his luck and agility, I think, add up over 90 now. I leveled him again. Okay, combined, and it's just like wowzers, the difference between his questing versus even my like level 13 rare thief. It's like such a big difference.
Yeah.
It's like wow. Because the stats so different, it really makes a big difference. So that 1/3 on the stats compounds, like it has just imagine when you have 300. Okay, yeah. It's a massive to that hero's questing outcome. Okay, even though it's still only 1/3, that is like an exponential. That 1/3 becomes more exponential as the hero continues to level up. And so what that means is the questing that hero is more profitable. It's more profitable to quest him in his profession, getting all the items, okay, is more profitable. Get it? Like I woke up this morning. I love these type days. We were just talking eggs. I think I got like 8 eggs overnight.
How many heroes do you have?
Where did all these eggs come from? Like it all counts. It's like, did they increase the drop rates of eggs? Every once in a while that happens. I'm getting close to 1,000 heroes.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Of course,
You're one of the whales that my squad's looking for to take down.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. So when that happens, I'm finding that like with specifically like that thief. Okay. First of all, I can't even quest him in the luck profession quest because once they hit 50, and I think they're supposed to change that, but once they hit 50, you can't even quest him there. Once they hit 51, maybe. With
you
luck,
can't even quest at all.
You can't even quest it.
Wow,
Now,
I didn't know
I
that.
think what Frisky Fox's intention for that was just to always, if you're over 50, was just to always drop it back down to 50. But up to this point, I can't even quest them on the luck profession. I have to go to agility, which is somewhere around 40, I think, on agility for that particular feat. So, which is still good, but I don't think there's a big XP advantage at all, let alone when that hero hits level 20 and beyond. Okay. So then on top of that, so it's more profitable questing them. You're getting more XP, which means you're leveling up faster. Okay. Because we're just talking, if I level the hero based off, yeah, baby. Oh, I love you. I love you, this girl. Okay. So if I'm leveling, like, let's just give an example of like the sage, a foraging sage. Okay, if I do the primary stat as intelligence, the secondary stat as dex, okay, and then the with the Gaia's blessing, okay, this is all where it all comes down to the Gaia's guaranteed stat, okay, and these two 50-50 roll stats every time you level. This is all we're talking about, really. And then for me personally, when you talk variance, I'm trying to maximize my potential to get the maximum number of stats possible every time I level. So when I'm using crystals, I'm primarily paying attention to the secondary class. So if the secondary class, let's say, is a warrior, or a paladin, I'm gonna use the crystal that's best associated with the secondary class, and I find that really I really seem to beat the variance in my favor. I still pay attention to the primary class because that 5% matters a lot. So, like, for example, if I throw on a crystal and it's a wizard subclass, okay, and let's say I have a monk primary class with a wizard subclass. Well, I'm going to use, and it's 20% on the secondary chances to hit wisdom, 20% on intelligence. Well, if the blue stat is on either one of those, and it makes, like, let's say that the blue stat is on intelligence, that'll bring intelligence up to 24% on the secondary stat. Now, the dilemma with that is the monk is not very good with intelligence. So adding the crystal, the 5% to the monk will take him from 30%, I think, or is it 25% intelligence?
I think it might be 25 for a monk.
25. So I would just take him from 25 to 30%. That's not helping that very much. So even in that scenario, I'm still considering wisdom, because going with a monk at 55% on wisdom, either 50 or 55%. Is it 55% wisdom? Gosh, brain.
I think base.
It's hard when you don't have it right in front of you.
Right.
Yeah, share screen.
Okay. So when I throw that crystal on, I'm taking his 20% up to 35%, which it seems like I hit that more than a third of the time, on that secondary class. Okay. And I'm bringing the 55% up to 60%, which gives a higher likelihood to have a positive regression of variance in my favor for wisdom. Okay, so that's like still a dilemma. So I primarily pay attention to the secondary class when leveling my heroes with crystals. Okay, but this debate, as far as this debate goes, we're only primarily talking about the guaranteed stat that we get from Gaia, the Gaia's blessing, and then the two 50-50 rolls. So, like for example, with the Sage, before I was paying close enough attention to this, I would go Dex as the guaranteed stat, which Dizzy and some of the guys, like old school guys, put me in my place. And I'm like, okay, because I didn't know, I'm new to the game. I came in, I got serious in the game in basically like late April, like mid to late April is when I got serious into the game.
That's when I joined.
Yeah. So I had tried to look into the PvP and how that, but I just couldn't find much until I've talked more and more to the OG guys like you guys, and all the things that Hubert has said in the past about PvP. Essentially, Hubert, so, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, basically what Hubert said was the stats in which the heroes level up naturally the best at are the stats in which they will perform best in PvP. So, for example, for an archer, you want to focus on dex. For a sage, you want to focus on wisdom and intelligence. For paladin, you want to focus on strength, endurance, vitality, and wisdom. For a ninja, you want to focus on agility, dex, and luck. So, and in that way, when you focus on that, then this is why the Bible is out on expert, essentially leveling Bible for PvP, is that you focus on the stats in which the heroes level up naturally best at. Okay. And I'm making a counter argument to that. And it's such an important conversation. So when you level up based off their profession for the first 15 levels, I would say 10 to 15 levels, and also level up vitality in those first 15 levels, with possible exceptions, replacing vitality with intelligence for wizards, maybe priests, seers, summoners.
Any mana-driven hero.
Yeah. So the heroes in which mana will come into play more, which has a lot to do with magic. Not only magic though. So the question we all have, I think, and the question we're still waiting is, how much, for example, will Dex help a Sage in PvP versus how much will Dex help an Archer in PvP? Mm-hmm. Like, and how much or not how much will Dex impact the Sage? Okay, since I've learned some of the things that Hubert has said, well, now on a Foraging Sage, I do intelligence as the guaranteed stat every time. And like for a Ninja, Fisher, always doing agility for, so as the guaranteed stat for sure. For a Ninja Forager, I do Dex. So, and then the secondary stat, 50-50 two rolls, generally speaking, I'm throwing on vitality, and I'm throwing on the secondary, the worst stat for that hero, following the profession. Here's why. It makes their questing more profitable over time. And we know that even though it only accounts for about 1/3 of that questing outcome is the stats, we know that that grows exponentially over time as the hero levels up. Which means they're more profitable because they're getting more items, which means you get more XP, which means you'll level up faster. So just in the first 15 levels of that hero, you're essentially establishing a foundation in their questing for the rest of that hero's life. Then, as we get more detail about PvP, we'll still have 85 more levels, baby. So exactly how we want to for PvP, and also vitality. We know, like Zabu sent a chart about the difference when you level up a hero with vitality in its early stages of that hero's life, what the outcome is by the time that hero hits level 100. By the time a hero, let's say by the time a paladin hits 100, let's say you have two paladins. They're both at level 100 with the same exact number of vitality. Okay, but one of them was focused heavily on vitality early in that hero's life. The other one ignored vitality early in the hero's life. But by the time they reach level 100, they have the same vitality. The one in which you focus on vitality early in the hero's life will have much more health, hit points, health, okay, for that hero. Same, and the same also is for intelligence and wisdom as well when it comes to mana points. Especially that's going to go well for wizards, priests, seers, sages, summoners. Okay.
That's why level 1 level up, my rule of thumb is atonement crystal. And then level 2 level up, lesser atonement crystal for PvP gods.
Okay.
Because your vitality, boom. So I've got a ninja who's level 8 and his HP is like 400 something at level 8.
It's insane.
Because of that.
It's a transcendent ninja too.
Wow. So
real quick, I'm sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. To comment on what Starbuck said, wow, that's very interesting. I'm actually the opposite. I'm actually stacking atonement crystals, and I'm waiting for like maybe level 20 or level 10 to use them, because you could only use one on each hero, of course.
Right.
My reasoning is because you would probably want to, especially for PvP heroes, you would probably want to juice them with attunement crystals to get the advantage of the compounding vitality growth or mana growth early, and then wait for the atonement crystals late as far as you could wait, because the atonement crystals don't work on stats. I mean, well, they add a mana and HP.
Yeah. Is there a reason, Starbuck, to do it at level 1 versus level 20? Does that matter?
Because I feel like it stacks bigger from the beginning. So if you started a bigger spot, then towards the end it just seems to be greater. That's just from my own visual.
It's a snowball effect.
Way on it.
Because it's a percentage of what you currently have on HP. Or
that's what I feel.
It's just a percentage of your vitality.
Well, when I was looking at, so I've got a dragoon and a sage that are both
the vitality
level 5.
is directly correlated to HP.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you got to have the biggest HP at the beginning, so it keeps on stacking bigger throughout that hero's life.
Interesting. No, good points, both you guys. Okay, I'm almost done. Then I'm going to give all of you guys the floor. Okay. So another thing, like as we see with duels, so it makes a hero quest better, be more profitable, which means they're going to level up faster in the early stages of the hero's life. The foundation is laid for that hero in both vitality and in their profession. And so that then down the road, when we get pets, baby, we're all going to freaking throw a party. And pets, and you guys know more about this than I do, but my understanding is that pets will also help you level up faster. Okay. And you can, let's say you have that freaking Dread Knight or Dark Knight Fisher. You have a freaking Dark Knight Mythic Fisher, which I have a couple of. Okay. and there's a foraging or mining pet, that you can now quest more effectively. You can now send that Dark Knight questing as a forager with a foraging pet. But my understanding is that if you get a pet that aligns with the hero's profession, that you'll be able to quest. There's an extra bonus to that on top of the bonus you already.
Hey, you ever seen a car juiced up with NOS?
Yeah.
They press that button, it's just it's gone, right?
Yeah.
That's what these mythic pets are going to do for questing, for XP growth, for crafting, all of it. And if you build your heroes,
I just cannot wait. Okay.
Level questing is going to be a game changer. It's going to make people rethink everything. And then as soon as those pets get those roles released in the utility, my whole play is to have squads of high level in profession PvP heroes. So I'm talking a dragoon with a strength bonus, used of strength stone, miner, PvP, got the elite skills and the advanced skills. I'm going to strap a mythic pet, sorry about my language, a mythic pet on that thing, and we're going to go. and
baby.
and it will not be detached until it's level 20 or higher. And we're just gonna go, and I'm gonna breed these, and I'm gonna have probably 20 or 40 of them at a time, just super leveling, and then I'm gonna swap them out. You know, super level, and I'm gonna swap them out.
And so my understanding is that you're gonna be better off following a hero's profession with the pets.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. In my book, I go for. So typically, most of my questers are PvP because all my heroes have advanced or elite or whatever. That's my whole thing. But it doesn't mean that I have ignored profession, because I do believe profession is very important. But I also believe that subclass, setting up your heroes when you're summoning them, is way more important than people believe. Like
I agree.
For the life of that hero's leveling and what it's going to get, it matters. It truly does matter. And for PvP, even that subclass is going to matter. I mean, if you have for example, a Dragoon Ninja, right? And you're leveling that ninja, even for PvP purposes, it's going to have a higher agility, right? So it's going to be able to come at you faster with less buffs than anybody else based off of that. I mean, the subclass is something that's just totally slept on, I think, by most people.
And we even see, like in Fight Club, for example, subclass is important.
Huge.
Which is kind of another argument I'm having, is that when we see with duels so far, and with like Fight Club, for example, we see that all the stats really make a big difference. So it's not that. Now we know it's going to be different for PvP for sure. That like Dex will affect a Sage differently than it will, for an Archer. But my biggest question is how much different. Okay, so Dex is still going to be good for a Sage.
Place your bet. Place your bet. That's
so
where we're at.
Let's just say that I'm totally wrong. Okay. And I realize that you guys are right, and I'm a dumbass. Okay. And I'm totally wrong with my whole leveling strategy here. But the worst case scenario is I'm still really good. Okay. Because
here's another thing I want to add to it though. So when you have 1,000 heroes, it's harder to keep track of this. But for say somebody that has like 100 heroes or so, I don't know about you guys, but I use stones on every summons.
Every summon.
Every single summon. So I have buffs to my growth scores on every one of my heroes. So my whole approach to leveling is slightly different. Most of the time that's in profession, right? Yeah. I'll use a might stone on a miner or something like that. Right. But I'll do it typically. Say I have an endurance, like I have a higher % chance for an endurance bonus, right? I'll use that might stone, so I bring the buff of that strength up to the level of that endurance with the blue bonus or the mythic endurance or whatever bonus that you have on there. So I have 2 really high growth score bonuses that are on that hero, and so I play off of that, and then I use the vitality as another one in the early stages to build that HP. While those 2 enhanced growth scores, because of subclass and or stones used, are getting juiced with the crystals and everything on the other level ups. It's worked really well for me. I typically get between like 7 and 12 on most of my level ups. I don't see too many 4s or 5s or anything like that. But I also I don't truly focus on rarity. Rarity is like the last box I check when I'm trying to build my heroes. I know it sounds crazy, right? Yeah. It sounds completely crazy. But Justice Beavers, he went on this Sage building like binge, right? And he was using regular wit stones, and he's got crazy summoners that are like level 2 with like 33 intellect, 34 intellect. Wow. Like it's so crazy what you can do under the hood before you even like put your hero out into the questing and all that stuff. There's so much you can do before you ever even get to a level up to set that hero up for level ups, that I mean, people don't even realize it. They don't realize it. But if you work those stones,
yeah, they're just trying to get tentacles
and try to play off of whatever one you have the least likely chance to get that bonus on. So if you're going to get, like, you have a 50% chance to get an endurance bonus on the blue, right?
Right.
Go for that strength, especially if it's a minor, because you're going to have super buffs to your profession scores, which are going to play into PvP as well.
That's so interesting. That is so. And so, like, I have 2 Gen Zeros. I have a Priest Wizard Gen Zero. And I typically use in their minors, unfortunately, but because that was back when like the floor minors were double the price, and I bought. So I was just like, I want some minors here, Gen Zeros, and they were like the cheapest. Okay, and so, but I always use a stone. 10 Commandments, baby. Always use stone. Always use crystals.
I mean, it's the only way.
Generally use an endurance stone for those 2 because I think that'll better help their PvP. Because strength is like probably of all stats of all heroes, like strength will help the priest and wizard the least.
I sprinkle in though. I do sprinkle in luck crystals and agility crystals on all my PvP heroes, on every one of them. I also, even if they're a minor and I have a chance for like a mythic luck or something like that, I'll go that route, right? But I'll stone it's stone and crystal on the summons and the level ups, the profession. But I'll hit that luck and I'll hit that, because I mean the critical hit, rare drop, and the buff on your next hit, those are going to be so important in PvP that people aren't paying attention to them right now. They're just not.
That's huge. Okay, so my last argument here, and I've got a couple more things I can mention, but my last argument is that I'm just establishing such a foundation for that hero that when we actually finally figure out the exact details for PvP, I can totally forget about my profession at that point. I can forget about vitality at that point, and I'll have that established stat there on out so that he'll quest better, he'll level up faster for the rest of his life. You can focus on pairing that hero with a pet that follows the profession, so it's like double time bonus when that hero is questing. So then he'll level up even faster, which will become more exponential. When we see things like with duels and with Fight Club and things like that, that the stats, so even PvP will be different, but the stats will still help. Like Dex will still help.
Oh, they'll be important.
PvP.
Yeah, like vitality. Which hero is not going to need a stack of vitality?
Right. Even a wizard, priest, seer, sage. But that's my debate too, is like, could I focus on vitality or intelligence for those guys? That's why I love.
I mean, when you're playing a game and you get, a chance to increase your hearts, you're going to try to do that every single time. I mean, it's that one heart you don't have that you need to win the biggest fight.
Right.
I mean, the Fight Club showed that to you there, man. They came down to five HP points here and there, and it was because that hero was leveled just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, share screen. I'm going to do it one more time. This is the last argument, actually, is that this leveling up debate here with Hubert, I think the community may have taken some of his statements too far. Okay, so, and because it's so unclear, it's so foggy, how much. So I kind of feel like what's happened, and I felt this at first when I started playing the game, and you get like a ninja freaking gardener, like you summon the freaking gardener. Damn it. Okay, or you get, yes, I got a paladin finally, and damn it, how did it be a fisher? Like it was supposed to be a winner, things like that. Okay.
Some heroes, Grady, are just meant to be ingredients, though, man.
Oh, man,
and a gardening sage is not a bad thing. So
I know. I love all gardeners, by the way, because you can focus on vitality, and then I throw in wisdom, and then their best stat, essentially. So I don't care. Yeah. I just love gardeners. Okay, so here's what Hubert said in one of these comments. This is quite a while back. Okay, almost a year ago, actually. He said, the profession quests aren't the only type of quest we will have, so we will release more things to do, and I think you will find other stats primary class, subclass, and other gene combinations are more optimal to meet those challenges, okay, than what the perfect gardener or miner may have, like in how we see it now. So I think he was just trying, and I think he said other similar things like that. And so I think that Hubert was just he's just trying to get people to breathe easy, like, because we're all pissed off. You know, first we all went through this kind of like progression. It's like we get that ninja and it's a gardener, or we get that paladin and it's a forager, and we're like, damn it, it only had a 10% chance to be a forager, and I finally get the paladin, and there it is, it's a forager, you know, or whatever. And it's like, I'm just going to ignore foraging, and we try to quest them like as a miner, and it just doesn't work out as well. So we all went down that, like, all these different roads, and we're trying our damnedest to ignore the freaking profession. Okay.
What did you get yesterday, Mosh? I can't remember. It's like a shapeshifter, but it was just the wildest odds.
With an elite, no?
0.02%.
Okay.
Yeah.
With an elite, bro. With an elite.
Yeah. So you guys take the floor. We've had all kinds of awesome comments. Andrew, Coolio's in the house. Hubert is the man. John, all kinds of awesome comments. Love you guys. Okay. Who wants to go first and squash my argument here?
Well, I'm not going to squash it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I mean, I agree with a lot of it, but like when I'm looking at my heroes, I don't know if I want to have that one stat that's just the highest above everything, or if I want a well-balanced PvP hero. So from that aspect, you know, I do look at, you know, maybe I look at the primary stat first, obviously, because it's the primary for me. And now, you know, based on your comments, I'll probably start looking at that secondary a little bit more, especially if I'm using a grader. I had a agility. I used a greater swiftness on my ninja for level 5, and I think it was a +5 altogether with only 2 agility. And that's where my head kind of started shifting, where maybe I shouldn't have focused on the agility that it was already going to get. Maybe I should have gone to that second or third stat for, at the time, a 200 joule atomic crystal, you know. Excuse me, not atomic crystal, a greater crystal.
Right.
So now I'm looking more at, like, you know, maybe, so the next roll I did a greater strength, which, you know, ninjas aren't going to have that highest strength. And it was a 3 across, where generally I'm not getting anything on that period. Yeah. Which heroes aren't going to want strength? Which heroes aren't going to want vitality? So I'm looking at, you know, ninja. Yeah, when I'm growing my babies, you know, I want them to have what they don't have. It's like, if you're building a team, you don't hire who's exactly as good as you. You want somebody who's like, you know, you're good at marketing, hop on board. You're good at, you know, sound, audio, visuals, hop on board. I'm good at, like, let's spit some game. So let me do that. So with that hero, I want him to have its agility, which I know it's already going to have. I want it to have its luck, which I know it's already going to have. But I want to supplement those, you know, so it doesn't just come with the biggest right hook. I want it to have a left uppercut as too. So why wouldn't I? So why wouldn't I have a balance here where I know, you know, more likely than not, I'm going to have 85% of the time it's going to hit this stat, but this one's at 30. Well, why wouldn't I want that to have 70 every single time? And then by the time we are at level 99, what's the difference? You know, maybe the agility of one that I always focused on, agility, would have been skyrocketed, would have been this one thing, but I had no shield. Yeah. You know, I get shot once, and I've got the strongest arms in the world, but I've got Achilles heel. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to, like, solve for with my hero growth. So I want to solve for those gaps that I might have, but I also want to position my hero where I'm not forgetting about those agilities. And like I said before, I want that vitality, and I probably have it wrong. So somebody's going to be like, he's an idiot. He didn't ever said that about the vitality. But for me, it's like, I want vitality to stack at the very, I feel like it grows higher. So like I mentioned, my ninja's got a 400 something vitality. And then I have these, the Sage and Paladin, which are my PvP crew. And theirs are at like 200 HP and 200 something HP. And I feel like it's because they weren't stacked at the very beginning with that vitality and that HP is the focus. Whereas for me, HP is my focus. Like, mana's awesome. I'm sure it's going to play a huge part. But like, the way I'm building my heroes, I want them to be barbarians, just run in and start tanking. So I can let my strategy come into play and not worry about, are my heroes strong enough? My heroes will be strong enough. Now it's all about my strategy.
Yeah. And so I got a feeling in my gut. A couple things I didn't mention also is that, like, I got a feeling that paladins and dark knights with lots of agility might be some of the best. And you made the point with a ninja having lots of strength. I think that's going to be big. Okay, so I have a whole array because I have so many heroes. I've got 1,000 heroes almost. So I have my mining.
You're crazy,
paladin.
Grady.
Yeah, I've got 1,000 heroes just sitting behind my
So I
10
have all these
zeros.
different heroes. I've
This is
got
your blowhole.
mining paladins, fishing paladins, foraging paladins, and gardening paladins, and they're all going to look different, right? So, and then, you know, moving forward, that's another reason why once we get more information on all this, we might find out that paladins with lots of agility is really good in luck, because the highest hero in the whole game with luck is only 65% thief. Then 60% is ninja, and that's it. And a dread knight, okay, is 60%, and then you got 55% with the state. Like, so luck is another, like, is luck going to just be good for everyone type stat? Okay,
they've already said luck will play a part in the
in my
egg
experience. Luck bonuses in any game are a good thing.
Yeah, right. For all heroes, obviously, it's still going to help a thief more than it will help like a paladin or
absolutely.
Okay, but luck's going to be good, right?
Right. So you've got luck I mean, obviously theory that sets up your critical hit, and then you have strength coming in to determine how strong that critical hit was.
Yeah.
And agility on how soon you can hit it again. So
right. Yeah. Okay, let's give
real quick. Can I comment? Can I comment real quick on something that Starbuck said?
Yeah.
Starbuck, you mentioned the stat of 400 for vitality. The reason I'm holding off on the atonement crystals is because if you see the documentation, the roll or the increase for HP is based on the vitality stat, not the HP number.
Yeah, and the atonement crystal just gives you a
so you want to build that stat up before you use the atonement crystals, what you're saying, Zabu?
So I prefer to juice up vitality with crystals for the first levels for to have compounding growth later in the stage, and hold off on the atonement crystal.
So your game is stack the vigor crystals from levels 1 to 10 or 1 to 15 or so, and then once you get to that point and you're stacked, you use that atonement crystal because you think it's going to hit harder based off of that vitality stat.
Yeah, but also it plays into my other strategy because I like to prioritize mana growth too. So I'm just saying prioritize those stats with whatever attunement crystals you want and hold off on the atonement.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. That's a good strategy. I haven't heard that
valuable probably when PvP comes out.
Yeah, okay. I'm curious. I mean, I'm curious what it'll look like and how far down the line we'll have our Apex. You know, at what point is there your method that's going to work the best, or mine probably doesn't work and it's all in my head, but it makes me feel good.
I feel like
same. Yeah, I love it. More than half the fun is speculation right now. We don't know.
Yep.
Honestly, I feel like listening to all you guys, like I take a little bit of Grady's method, a little bit of Jay Nasty's method. I'm really look into what you're talking about, Zabu. You got me thinking here with that vitality, hit that vigor, and then hit the atonement crystal. That's cool. Yeah. I try my darndest to build that foundation with those profession stats, right? But I also pick two which I feel are going to be very valuable PvP stats. And actually there's 3 and I pick 2. It's usually vitality, swiftness or agility, and luck. And I try to build those up along with those profession stats, and it's worked really well so far for me.
Interesting. Yeah. So I've been on my luck kicks. I've been on my vitality kicks. Like that's why I love gardeners so much, is because you're hitting both vitality and wisdom, which wisdom, it's a lesser factor in the mana, but it's not that much lesser.
Not that much lesser. We really don't know. I mean, it supposedly is, but maybe it helps out more in the attacks or the healing or whatever it may be, you know?
Right.
But
I can pull it up right here. Should I share my screen again real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I'll do it just so we can all see it. Oh, did you guys see that? Is that sharing?
Not yet.
I'm not seeing anything right now.
Oh, you're not seeing it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so weird how it doesn't. Okay, stop. Okay, now
I'm a boomer, man. I like it doesn't look like it, but I can't set up my own cable box, man.
yeah. Okay, so hit points is the measure of how alive a hero is. If they become injured, they will need to rest or use potions to recover HP. If this goes to 0, a hero can become exhausted or worse. Mana points. Mana points are used to cast spells and use skills. So what does this use skills mean?
Okay, that's what is part of my second strategy, which is very speculative. But see, that's the key right there. Skills. Every hero is going to have its own unique skill or an ability. So you could argue that every single hero should prioritize also mana growth in the early stages.
I agree.
Take for example, a dread. A dread we could assume is going to be super powerful, right? And to balance that, it probably would be safe to assume that it's going to have a high cost for mana to use that skill. That's why there's also mana potions in the game, because you're going to need them. You're going to run out of mana. It doesn't matter how awesome your skills are if you don't have mana.
Right. Yeah.
100.
And so mana points are used to cast spells. So obviously that's going to most benefit your wizards, summoners, sages, seers. Okay.
Your healers. Yeah.
And so they're used to cast spells, but also to use skills. So a pirate, it's still going to be good for a pirate to have mana. And so when this reaches 0, the hero can no longer cast or use spells or skills until they use a potion. And so obviously that's definitely going to help a wizard much more than it will a pirate, but it's still going to be good for a pirate. And so how do we build up the mana? Well, it's both intelligence and wisdom. Here's, okay, that's actually in a different spot. Where is it? Where it actually lays out. It lays it out for us. Okay, I think maybe here in the leveling. Okay, the growth.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
So basically, I can just tell you. So the way mana is calculated when leveling is that.
It's on the chart that I sent you too. It's also interesting that it's also interesting that
yes,
it's interesting that they used the basic heroes. They used a knight and a wizard, which are kind of on the opposite spectrums.
Yeah, you know what? And for mana, this actually says for mana. This was something I didn't know that I learned from reading this. Is that each time a hero levels up. It's critical for combat. It's between life and death. Hit points and mana points are critical for combat and difference between life and death. Each time a hero levels up, the game will roll to see which size of AP gain they receive. I thought this was the same for all heroes. I thought it was universal, but it's not. Then there's another roll, right? So there's 2 rolls. You get the small, regular, and large. Okay, but also, okay, stamina. Here's one thing I read though. Where's it at? So, okay, health point, HP, chance for small. Okay, but it's different for each hero. Did you guys know this?
I did know that. I read through the docs right at the beginning for all this stuff when they came out with all this. But yeah, I found that super interesting because I used to think that it was all the same too.
I did too. So the chances for a small, regular, or large gain per class is different per hero. So the warrior, for example, only has a 15% chance to hit the small, whereas like a thief has a 25% chance to hit the small. An archer, a priest has a 35% chance to hit the small. That's why they just, and so a dark knight so the lowest is like a warrior and knight, the dragoon, and the dread knight only has a 10% chance to hit the small for the HP, but okay. Now that's the same case for MP for mana points. They all have, so a warrior for MP has a 50% chance to hit the small and only a 15% chance to hit the large. And the way that's calculated with intelligence and wisdom is that MP gain is 2 plus 0.6 intelligence plus 0.4 wisdom. So however much, let's say you have 20 intelligence, 20 wisdom. Okay, you're going to get, or let's say 10 intelligence, 10 wisdom to make it simpler. You'd get 6 intelligence, 4 wisdom, and then that times 0.075 if it's the small gain. The regular gain, so you get small, regular, and large gain. The large gain, you get 9 MP mana points plus the 0.6 intelligence plus 0.4 wisdom times 2.25. So wisdom and intelligence, yes, intelligence is a weightier factor for mana, but wisdom isn't that different. Like it's yes, it's less weighty, but it's not that much of a difference. Yeah. So on a scale of 100, you know, it definitely matters. Intelligence factors more. So you want to focus more on intelligence when it comes to mana, but wisdom, definitely big, significant factor. Okay. Okay. Also, so Zabu, did you have anything else as far as the leveling argument? So your biggest argument, this is one I haven't heard as much, is so you're primarily focusing on vitality, wisdom, and intelligence in the early stages of the hero's life. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
I have multiple strategies, and I like to classify them as in a risk and reward. Right now, I'm focusing on the leveling chart because one for the vitality and HP increase, that is probably the safest bet, I would think. My second one is more speculative. It would probably be best to do the bonus, the guaranteed 1 stat on vitality, and mana and intelligent for the blessing on every single hero. That's my second one, but that's more speculative, of course.
So you're always doing vitality and intelligence every time.
Yeah, I try to focus on that. But like I said, I have some heroes that I do some, and I mean, there's so many combinations and interesting. There's so many variables you have to take into consideration, subclass too, and like the blue stat and and stones and all that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
And then to add to that, how I argue that based on the docs on DeFi Kingdoms, it says that reading the stats, I'm sorry, to argue your point that you said earlier that strength wouldn't necessarily benefit a priest and a wizard as much. I would argue that strength could benefit every single hero also, because if you read strength, it says strength adds a multiplier to various actions, especially physical attacks and skills. See, I'm focusing on skills. Every hero has a unique skill that will be valuable, in my opinion.
And strength strength will matter for all of them.
Because there's even for mana driven heroes, there's offensive or attack spells, you know?
Yeah. And wisdom, particularly wisdom, helps with magic defense, right? So I think that's good for everyone. So like Nine Dwarf,
I want them all.
They're like,
give me all this
for my Dread Knight, because you can have that magic defense. That's interesting. So it's like, that's why I'm just like, look, follow your profession. and so I have sages that are awesome with intelligence and dex, and then sages that are awesome with endurance and strength, sages that are awesome. So I just have them all. You know,
you all have your heroes doing their profession quests when they're in levels 1 through 10, just to get them over the 10 hump first, and then switch them out.
I wait until I'm up at 25 stat. I have a couple of stats that are 25 or higher, then I'll do it.
And then you go to the training quest after that.
Yeah, because I just picked up 2 heroes and I noticed they'd never done their profession quests. They're at 0 and they're at level 5, and I was just like, I didn't get it. So
yeah, people are just training quests.
Because even for your lower level heroes, they're still, especially even for your like level 1 heroes, they're going to level up faster if you send them to training. But see,
That's not necessarily true though, because you send brand new heroes with low stats to training quests, they get freaking stomped out, man. They get stomped out with those X's every single time. All right.
Well, I mean,
thanks for coming. Enjoy these 5 X's.
Yeah, that was fun.
But then you send them fishing or whatever, and they get like 70 or 72. They get like 2 bloater fish.
Yeah,
yeah.
Not in.
I'll take a bloater fish once my pets need hunger. Yeah,
are
hungry.
Yeah, but as far as the XP gain, it's not any better to send them professional questions.
I will say this, Grady, is you can't go wrong when you're building that foundation. Okay, what you're talking about there, and then what Zabu's talking about on building the HP and the mana foundation, that's good for PvP 100%. I think each hero is, especially when you're building PvP, if you're in that realm, it's a little, you gotta dig a little deeper before you do those level ups. There's different, there's certain things that may be under the hood that are going to dictate where you go with those level ups more so than profession or anything else. Those stones used, subclasses, I mean, that's what I live and die on when I do my level ups is I look under the hood. Okay, which stone did I use on this? Okay, where did that bonus land? Those are all the things I take into account. And I'll tell you this, doing it that way, I get a lot of 2s and 3s on those normal level ups on those stats, and I'll get a sprinkle of the other ones in as we're going forward. So it's worked so far for me, and I'm the type of person that, like, if it works for me, I tweak it a little bit, but I kind of stay in that realm. You know what I mean?
I love it, you guys. And we got France, man. We have J-Dub in the house. So France with Boxside Chats.
I love that guy.
The Fight Club, baby.
Yeah.
Fight Club.
Hey, I've been making some level 1
heroes. Only level 1 heroes.
guys.
Everyone's on a level playing field.
Yes.
Okay, which you'll probably, the best heroes will be mythic level 1 heroes. Like
it's true. Unless it's a stoned bad mamma jamma.
Yeah, I've got my 3. I've got 2 of my 3 for that next tournament. And it's hard for me I've got 2 of my 3 for my next tournament. I went out and bought some level 1s just for this tournament.
Yeah,
it's killing me looking at
what I'm thinking too, man.
Yeah, it's killing me. I look at their XP; it's full every time I quest, and it's like,
I'm like,
I'm so sorry. I may keep these level 1s forever, and these are all you ever see.
I know. I'm like waiting until October the 2nd. Is like because I'm not gonna have the patience to not level that hero for 2 whole weeks. Like what? Okay. So, but I summoned a summoner. Okay, nailed it with an intelligence stone, like lesser stone, and he had 22 intelligence.
Man, that's what's up.
Smart.
Love hearing that. And so I'm given 3 prizes, 3 Gen 0 summons.
Yeah,
of your choice. So of which pure breed, archer.
I want that potential shapeshifter, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've got a rare gardening sage and a legendary fishing berserker. Okay, Gen 0. Yeah. That'll probably be one of them. And then the other one, I've got a mythic level 11 thief fisher, Gen 0, and a legendary archer gardener, unfortunately. But it still has a chance. That Dark Knight has like a 10 or 12% chance to be a miner, and it's like a 50% chance to be a gardener, but like still a 30-some% chance to be a fisher. And that actually,
of course, it'll be a wizard.
That pair this week,
it'll be a priest.
Summoned a rare Dark Knight. I'm like pumped. Yes, and I turn the card, and it's a fisher. Ah!
Yeah, been there before, man. That 4% fisher at the bottom. Yeah, terrible.
Okay, guys, I can't wait to do this again. We got to do the more important discussion is how to get these transcendent abilities. Like within the next.
It might be a series of videos.
Okay, a series of videos. Let's start this week. Are you guys available, or should we wait for the weekend again?
Yeah, I told you my schedule. you know, I'm a single dad, so I have my girls half the time, and they're in my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right?
You hatching eggs today, Dad?
Yeah, they do it. Most of my mythic pets are they love hatching eggs.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, we're gonna schedule this soon with Starbuck, with MOSH, maybe Justice Beaver, baby.
Yeah, I told him we were talking to you. We were on right now, and he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, early bird gets the worm, homie."
Yeah. Okay, follow these guys on Twitter. These guys like are putting out DFK alpha all the time. Zabu, anything else? Any other thoughts?
No, not. I mean, yeah, a bunch more, but I mean, there's more videos for that.
Hey, all right. If you have anything else, drop it.
Well, here's my question. Do you guys think you want both transcendence in active stats, or do you think you want them balanced where you've got your transcendent in active and passive?
I'll take them where
I'm curious. Active 1 and 2, is that where you want the elite and transcendent, or would you rather have an elite active 1 and an elite passive 2?
I love this, man.
To be perfectly honest, like, I'm happy with any transcendent I get, and if I were to build my perfect one, like exactly how I want it, I think I'd want the transcendent and active one and passive one.
Yeah, see, I'm with MOSH. I'll take anything as I could get it, because also it wouldn't be good to bank on any one hero or strategy, because there's also RNG that plays into it, you know.
Yeah, and you gotta give him a drink before you freaking try to press a button, man. You gotta get him all sauced up. RNGesus needs to be freaking drunk when you press buttons. Yeah.
You guys, I
was saying as far as leveling that specific hero also.
I want to learn about what that even means. Like what?
Yeah, well, I'll show you, Grady. We'll get on the Discord. I'll show you my pre-funk ritual. All right. No kids around though. There can't be any children.
Kids. The blood offering.
Anything else, guys? Anything else?
No, thank you, Grady. Appreciate you, bro.
You guys are the best. Follow these guys on Twitter.
Love you.
Okay,
Bullish.
love you, Zabu. Potato. Okay.
Love you, dude.
Okay,
Bullish.
We'll see you guys. All right, bye-bye.
Bullish.
Yeah, bullish.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still going. It's still live.